You guys, episode 7 just dropped, and it honestly, like, this episode was so good. It was so brilliantly done and executed, and um, I have some thoughts, and I can't wait to dig into it. So, if you haven't watched, just know that there will be spoilers, in this video. So be sure to hit pause on this, come back to it after you've watched the episode. Oh my goodness. What what a crazy. That was a movie. That was a straight up movie. Listen, if you're going to give me a battle, an epic battle, then you better give me epic character driven stories and a great phenomenal setup for that battle. And there's some shows that do this really well and others that really just lack in this department. They think action, 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 and they forget about um, the emotional aspect of the story and the character aspect of the story. And I feel like the showrunners, writers, creators of the Rings of Power really freaking nailed this. Was like I was seated but also stood up several times because I felt like this battle, I mean this episode was so emotional, and there was a lot of action. There was a heck of a lot of action, and I just thought that they did such a great job with this and set it up really well. And the way that they opened this episode, which I'm always curious, knowing what's coming, right? Knowing that there's a battle. I think we all knew that the battle would be heavy in this episode. Knowing that, and I'm always curious as to how the episode opens, and the way the way that this one opened, like, had me smiling, grinning, because here's Celebrimbor in his alternate reality, stepping out after having worked, to create these 9 rings, with his little cup of delight, morning delight, and just enjoying the view. And meanwhile, we know that is not the reality of the situation, and he is in complete and utter, like, he's in this game of false reality, false perception of what is really going on. And and I feel like this episode really, like, the culmination of this relationship between Celebrimbor and Anatar just was, oof, heavy, heavy. And I love when Anatar comes in and basically says, I gave you what you wanted, which was peace, you know? And even though it was this false sense of peace, but this is the great deceiver. This is how the great deceiver works. And he lets you believe something, obviously for his gain. And this was so well executed. The scenes between these two, oh my goodness. The deception, the manipulation, um it's just been so good this whole entire season. And I've really, like, just the crock pot of this relationship, like, the stewing, um it's just so well done, with these scenes and these two. And I love the writing in this episode. The dialogue between these two is just really, really, really good. Obviously, when you have a battle, you're gonna see deaths, and there were a few in this episode. Obviously, a lot with everyone that's involved, the elves and the orcs. But we did see the demise of Mirdania. We knew that was coming. It was just like how it came was really, like, just, ooh, just the deception was so thick in this episode, and so we saw her demise. Okay, let's talk about let's go ahead and talk about this kiss because everyone's kind of up in arms about it. Not everyone. I actually thought it was well placed, well done, well executed, well, like it did what it needed to do, which was had nothing to do with obviously their relationship. It had everything to do with the pin and freeing Galadriel from her shackles. And I just thought that I didn't even notice the pin. So there's that. I was too shocked by the kiss, honestly, that I didn't even notice the pin, which to me just speaks to the well executed plan there by Elrond. Sorry. I thought it was fine. I mean, listen, people have their opinions about it, whatever. I do not think that that ruined the episode. Far from it. I thought it was very well executed, and the intent was um to free her. So yeah, it did cause some confusion initially there for a little bit from me for sure because I was just like, this girl has chemistry with just about everybody that gets in like inches of her. Um, on screen. Like it's kind of insane and it feels complicated. It certainly does look complicated, but I was not up in arms over this kiss, not at all. I just thought it was shocking and it did what it needed to do, and uh hip hip hooray. Yay, it freed her. So I have no issues with that at all. And as I said last week, that I felt like this episode would be sort of like a reunion of different characters, which we did see that. And the High King was there, Elrond was there, uh, the reunion between Celebrimbor and Galadriel, also Galadriel and Erendir, and what she says to him, which was really awesome, to get him to just not go off on Adar before it's time. Anyways, he does end up fighting him at the end and gets overtaken by Adar. I don't know where his fate lies in that regard, if he's still alive or if he's just wounded. Who knows? But I think the most disappointing part of the episode was, for me, was Durin not showing up when he said he would, and the betrayal. Ugh, the disappointment from Elrond at the end was just so palatable and visceral and just heart wrenching to see him not come through, to see his friend not come through with his axe and his people to fight, and he was just so sure that he would show up, and then he didn't, and so that was obviously just heartbreaking to see the disappointment in Elrond's face countenance, and um, yeah, I was definitely feeling it for him, and everyone was, when that scene, when the reality hit in that scene, it was just like, we're gonna lose here, and usually at the light of day, we have our rescue, and in this case we didn't have that. So I don't know where how they're gonna wrap this season up next week, but I'm so excited for that. The way that this ended was pretty pretty fantastic. I was oh Everything about this episode just made me love um character driven stories with big, like if you're going to do a big epic fight scene, do it well, where where the stakes are high and there's emotional content even in the fighting, and they did a really good job. I give this is probably one of the best episodes, and not because of the battle but because of everything else, everything that led up to the battle for me. And I just thoroughly love this episode. I can't believe we have one more to go next week and it's over. Wow, what a season. We'll see what happens, but let me know your thoughts. I am so excited for the season finale, and can't wait to come back here and discuss that. But let me know your thoughts on this episode. Be sure to leave your comments. And if you like this video, and we'll talk to you later.